OMG. Seriously? That's too much information. Hi ladies, it's your girl Anna. Welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, thanks for tuning in. Now today I'm going to talk about some things that you should not talk about on your first date. I know there's a lot of information out there on what to wear, what to talk about on a first date, and of course there is some information on what not to talk about, but I'm just going to touch on a few things because as women, you're out there dating and you don't want to be a blabbermouth where you're letting out too much too soon. So if you've just met someone, you know, things are fairly new and everything, and he's ready to take you out on your first date, I'm going to touch on some topics that are off limits. If you're in the same country, there should be no excuse to have a first date early, right? A man should not be dating you over the phone for weeks or even months and then take you out if he's in the same country with you. Okay, ladies? So yeah. So this is for my ladies who you've recently met someone, you don't know much about the person, and they're now taking you out and you're wondering, what should I talk about on that first date? You know, what is really off limits, you know? So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing is you definitely don't want to be talking about the exes, right? I know it might be tempting, you know, there's a stranger sitting across from you and everything. He might be curious as well concerning your past, and the topic might come up about the exes. If he brings that topic up, find a way to steer clear of that, because you don't want to be talking about your past baggage too early and everything, because that can easily turn that man off. You need to get to know this person. Why tell a stranger about an ex when you haven't told this stranger about yourself, right? So he needs to know more about you, and the conversation should be focused on both of you. So resist the temptation as well to ask him about his exes and everything. You'll find that out later on. Just get to know the person in front of you. And getting to know them is not what is your favorite color and those basic things. There are other things you can know about each other that can keep the conversation light and flowing naturally, okay? It's a first date. It doesn't have to get too heavy in the beginning. Now, this is a big no-no. And some men will lead with that, where they start talking about their sexual escapades or their sexual prowess and all of that. Ladies, do not do that. You don't want to be telling a man what your bedroom skills are on the first date, right? That's not how you're going to sell yourself. As a high value woman, you definitely don't want to be leading with that, right? So if the conversation goes there where he's leading with that because he maybe just wants to sleep with you, so he's just bringing up all this sexual energy and all these sexual topics and all of that to kind of sway you into the bedroom or wherever, into his backseat, who knows? You want to avoid that. You definitely don't want to be sharing your sexual experiences on the first date. If that's what he cares to know about you, what's the point? You can just hit the next button and move right along, because why does this person care so much about your sexual escapades? So if he's digging deep and he's probing and asking you all these uncomfortable questions concerning your sexual past, you know, you can just move right along. Okay, ladies? So that topic is a no-no on the first date. There must be other things you can talk about. And if you're in a situation where you can't really find anything to talk about, you need to just clutch your purse and run, girl, because this is a waste of your time. You don't want to be wasting time with men who can only lead with sex, or they can only talk about sex, or it's just crickets because they can't find anything else to talk about, or there's really no depth or value to him. This is another tempting one, but you really don't want to do it, and that is talking about finances. It's a delicate topic because you don't want to be going too deep, right? You don't want to be sharing too much information about your own finances, and you should not be asking a man on a first date to tell you so much about how your pocket is. How much money you have saved up or everything, how is it going, how you going to pay for this dinner, where you get money from, what you do for money. All of these things you can learn later on, or it will come out naturally in conversation. While he's telling you where he works and everything, you'll get an idea of how things are with his finances. But don't dig too deep, ladies, because I know you don't want to be with the brokies, but at the same time you don't want a man to feel uncomfortable because all you're talking about is his finances, and he'll start to feel that you're only with him because of money. You don't want a man to think that this woman is a gold digger, all she cares about is money, because all of her questions are really just to find out how I am. While it is important to know if a man is financially stable, you don't need to be probing that deep on a first date. And first of all, it should not have gotten to a first date without you having an idea of how his finances are, because you should be dating at your level or higher. So if you did not screen the man for that before you even got out on a first date, that's on you. Okay, so don't pressure the man you're dating while you're out there about finances and everything, because you're not really sure where he stands financially, and here you are out on the first date. You might not make it to a second date if you behave like that. So just ease off of the talks on money, finances, and all of that. Okay, ladies? Another sensitive topic you want to stay away from is discussing health issues, right? If it's blatantly obvious, like for example, the man you're dating might be in a wheelchair, and you might, conversations may lead to how he got into that wheelchair, that's understandable. But if it's not clearly obvious or visible to you that this person has a health issue, it's best to stray away from those topics, right? You don't want to be asking, okay, so what kind of STDs do you have? Or what kind of STDs did you catch in the past? Ladies, don't do that, right? Health issues are off limits. Even if you yourself have health issues, you don't want to be sharing them in the beginning, right? Whether physical health issues, mental health issues, all of those things will come up later on, or some of them will manifest while you're out there on that date. So you won't have to blatantly ask someone about their health issues or give them a reason to lie to you, right? And it's a very sensitive thing that can turn men off, where you're digging too deep into their health status and all of those things. Because if it's about whether or not you have AIDS, what is he going to say? He's going to say no. These are things you can verify later on. Okay, so stay off that topic in the beginning, because you want the person to be comfortable while they're with you. You want the date to be pleasant, right? You want him to want a second date with you. So discussing health issues, going too deep, maybe persons might be moved to tears and all of these things. You just make things awkward. So you want to avoid that, right? So health issues is a no-no on the first date. To avoid being boring, don't think that you need to start gossiping about people. Right? You might be at a restaurant or somewhere else and you start talking about the people around because you want to be funny. Don't do that. Don't gossip about other people. Whether it's people in the room, your friends, your family, or something you heard at work, don't bring those kind of topics to the table on a first date, right? The first date is really about getting to know each other better and to learn about each other as individuals, right? So bringing gossip to the table is a big turn off, okay? So you talking about other people is just going to send the wrong message to him that you're a tattletale, you're immature and everything, because you're always talking about someone else. Talk about yourself if you can't find anything to talk about. Just talk about yourself, right? What are your hobbies? What are your goals? And don't go too extensive on your goals either and all of that, which I'll touch on next. But gossiping is a no-no. It's a clear indication that you're not the right person for him, because high-value women don't resonate at that frequency where they're gossiping about other people, talking bad about others and all of that. It's a very ugly trait to have as a high-value woman. So definitely don't do that on the first date, ladies, okay? When you get to know each other better and you're casual and you guys can laugh together about certain things, but leading with gossip on the first date is a definite no-no. Now, last and not least is talking about future commitments. You're on a first date with this person. It is clear that you want more. It is clear that you will want a relationship or you will want marriage later on. You don't need to state the obvious on a first date. And he may want those things too, right? Or he may not want those things where he's just casually dating you and he'll be on to the next in a minute. Yeah. You don't want to be spelling that out where you're telling him to his face that the fact that you're on this date with him, he better understands you don't have any time for time wasters. You're not looking to play games and all of that. You're looking for a loving relationship. And if he's not going to bring a loving relationship to the table, he can just leave you alone right now. That's you being forceful, and you can't force someone to honor those things because he said them. It's a first date. He's getting to know you, and you telling him that is not going to make him do that anyway. Right, ladies? So don't talk about your future commitment. It is clearly obvious, even without being said, that you want those things. And based on your communication style and the things you choose to talk about, it will come out to him what you really stand for and what you're looking for. So you don't have to spell out that I need a relationship in the next 3 months, or don't even call my number again, or if we can't wrap this up in a year, just forget about it. If you do those things, that's you giving the man an ultimatum, and that's going to be a big turn off, because nobody wants that, not even you, right? You would not want a man to approach you on a first date with ultimatums. That would be a clear sign that this is not the man for you. So if you're the one dishing out ultimatums, don't be on the lookout for a second date. Or he might continue dating you to get you in bed and then dump you after that, because who wants somebody who is leading with all of that? All of that kind of pressure is not necessary on the first date, right, ladies? So keep things light and fresh. Avoid stating the obvious. And let me just do a quick recap. Avoid talking about the health issues. Sensitive health issues are no. Discussing sexual escapades are definite no on the first date and everything. Go easy on the finances and all of that. Don't go too deep talking about finances and all of that, where they stand with money and all of these things, because you don't want to come across as a gold digger, right? Save that for date number 2 and onwards. And talking about the exes and all of these things is a definite no. You don't want to be talking about your exes with a stranger. Why tell a stranger that? You need to get to know that person better first before you dig up all of your past and your baggage and everything to share with that person, right? So get to know each other on an individual level before you start talking about the exes. And remember, if you're a gossiper, which I hope you're not, but if you are, definitely don't bring that to the table. Don't be gossiping people in the room, gossiping your friends, your family, anything. Don't bring gossip to the table on the first date. And lastly, avoid stating the obvious when it comes to relationships and marriage and all of that. You don't want to be setting any ultimatums. It's on the first date. Don't add too much pressure. This person is a stranger to you, basically. You want to get to know each other better before you bring certain things to the table, right? So don't state the obvious. Clearly, you're dating because you're looking for a relationship that will lead to marriage later on. Clearly, that's obvious, and those things can come out in the things you choose to talk about, right, ladies? So thanks for tuning in. Be sure to check out another video before you go. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Be sure to like, share, and please comment below. Let me hear your views concerning some things not to talk about on a first date. So thanks again, and I'll see you next time.